Your weekly dose of inspiration is back again this week. This is Stories Untold. I am Bulem Molibadzi with you to deliver the best great initiative that will definitely shift your perception in terms of just how much power you have to be the solution in your own life. Now, we're focusing specifically today on what is deemed as South Africa's missing middle. These are a group of people that are seemingly well off to access government support, yet they still struggle to access financial services. Now, these are people such as entrepreneurs, small business owners, and skilled workers in this category. They face an uphill battle as they don't have access to funding and they're often left behind. They also lack opportunities for business growth. But where there are problems, there's definitely solutions, and that's where Empowaworx steps in. Let's see how they resolve this challenge.
South Africa's missing middle refers to a segment of the population that is too wealthy to qualify for government social support programs, yet not affluent enough to easily access traditional financial services or fully participate in the formal economy. The plight of the missing middle is what motivated an organization to start fostering their skills and energy into the role of empowering those who needed it.
Which started off simply as providing marketing strategies and events for its partners, and then it transformed itself and evolved, and this was in response to the pain points in South Africa, and it started its own platforms. It created platforms that speak to the key areas of focus in the life of our democracy. So we started Empower Youth, which is about bridging the gap between young people and opportunity and the job market. Empower Women, about elevating and amplifying the voice of women in leadership and facilitating pathways for more women to get into leadership positions.
Empowerment is the act of equipping individuals with the authority, confidence, and resources they need to thrive. It's about fostering self-belief and providing the necessary support to unlock potential. This is precisely the mission driving Empowaworx across South Africa, striving to bridge critical gaps for those lacking the knowledge to launch a new venture, scale an existing business, or overcome personal barriers hindering growth.
Welcome to the Empowerment Annual Summit 2024. Let's do it.
We need to create safer spaces for both men and women.
You need any psychological support, Empowerment has arranged. We've got social workers, psychologists who are here to help and support you.
It's the beauty of hearing men speak, amongst each other, and just having conversations about the issues that we have and the problems that we're facing as men.
Empower Men was launched in a tumultuous time in the country.
Empower Men was about turning the conversation around where society was talking about men are trash, am I next, me too, and we went straight to the men who are decision makers in their organizations, in their communities, to speak about what it will take to redefine modern masculinity. So we convene over 3,000 men to talk about men holistically and how to redefine the way that women and young children interact with them.
When you make it happen at a personal level. If you have no confidence in yourself, you are twice defeated in the race of life. But with confidence, you have won even before you get started.
We build each other. We build with each other. We build for each other.
Failing is an event. Failing is not a destiny. Failing doesn't define who you are.
While the South African government has implemented numerous initiatives to stimulate entrepreneurship, their reach is inevitably limited. Recognizing this, Empowaworx has launched initiatives like the Empower series, designed to extend support to even more South Africans eager to cultivate both their personal and professional development. They aim to complement governmental efforts by providing targeted resources and guidance, ensuring that more individuals have access to the tools they need to succeed. Their approach encompasses not just business skills training, but also addresses the psychological and emotional factors that can significantly impact an individual's journey. By nurturing both inner strength and practical know-how, Empowaworx empowers individuals to take control of their futures and contribute to a more vibrant South African economy.
And same goes for Empower Entrepreneurs. It's about solving for the SMME, challenges, where you find that most small businesses don't survive past the 3-year mark. But if we're going to create the jobs for our young people, we need sustainable and scalable businesses. So Empower Entrepreneurs is about matching early to expansion phase businesses with funders, venture capitalists, your DFIs, and institutions of funding. And then Empower Personal Finance. Again, it's about that missing middle, and we look at the middle to upper middle class that is really, feeling the implications of the global economy, the local economy, and is starting to have conversations about questions such as retirement. We know that 6% of South Africans can afford to retire comfortably, so Empower Personal Finance seeks to create tools and spaces for the middle to upper middle class to interact with the financial services sector in its entirety, to really shape a new outlook on their financial realities and futures.
Welcome back to Stories Untold. Thank you for staying with us. Remember, you can catch up on all those episodes that you may have missed throughout the weeks, months, who knows, even years. Just go over to our YouTube channel at SABC and you'll be able to catch up on those previous episodes. Alternatively, follow us on social media at Stories Untold at SABC. Now, many people tend to entrepreneurship to create their own opportunities, but I'm sure we can all agree that it is no small feat, as there are not many mentorships and also opportunities to funding. But right now we meet a small business owner who turned to Empowaworx for support, and this is how they were able to help them overcome those challenges.
South Africa's persistent unemployment crisis has driven many to pursue entrepreneurship, seeking to forge sustainable careers and ultimately create employment opportunities for others. However, this ambition often falters due to significant obstacles, primarily the difficulty in accessing the necessary knowledge and financing to navigate the complexities of the business world. Aspiring entrepreneurs frequently encounter a lack of mentorship, business skills training, and guidance on regulatory requirements, leaving them ill-equipped to manage the challenges of starting and growing a business. Furthermore, securing the adequate funding remains a major hurdle, with limited access to loans, venture capital, or other financial resources, particularly for early-stage ventures. This combination of knowledge and financial deficits creates a formidable barrier, often cutting short promising entrepreneurial journeys and hindering their potential to contribute to job creation and economic growth.
We're so humbled and also inspired by the interactions that we've had with our targeted audiences, young people who come in their numbers to our Empower Youth Week summits, Empower Weekend summits. We go to every corner and crevice of the country to find young people where they are and to match them with our strategic partners to opportunity. This could be skills development, training, bursaries, job placements, and even grants for their small businesses. So that impact has been incredible, because we know that if we can impact lives in a community, the whole community changes its entire circumstance.
This business owner has his story to tell about how empowerment has made him grow in his business and as a person.
So what SA Books Online is an online platform for South African authors and publishers to sell their works in various formats, from physical copy to soft copy to audio copy. Our job is to just centralize the South African book market. I met Empowaworx in 2021 through an initiative or event they were doing called Empower Youth in Orange Farm. At the time I was really not busy, just post-COVID, or was in COVID rather. So I was not working. I was not even running a business. Even the prior business that I had ran had stopped. So I met it through a friend who's telling me about something that is happening in Orange Farm. And when I went there, I was gobsmacked, and I never knew my life would change the way it would. How Empowaworx has helped me through Empower Youth was through various ways. Number one, I saw a level of organization I was never exposed to. How you do things, how you talk to people, how you network, which leads to the second thing that they did for me was introduce me to a powerful network of mentors. And over more than that, they started to become my sponsor in rooms that I was not there. I would get calls by people who I did not know, who I never thought would call me at my age, and that did something to my mind that can't be undone.
Get up, wipe out the dust, stand tall. There is nothing small about being from the South. We are as good as it comes. There's no success in the world without your input.
And same goes for Empower Women. Many women in leadership who found the resources and the tools and the confidence to show up in these boardrooms, to not imposter in the face of their promotions, and to amplify their voices in the conversations and the agenda that they bring to the boardroom conversation, to the strategy ideations in ways that actually affect other women on the ground. And we're so proud of Empower Her, which becomes the intergenerational a pathway to bridge those gaps and to bring young women along with us as we ascend higher and higher in positions of leadership. So again, we see these beautiful collaborations that are forged between women across industries, and one conversation, one summit at a time, one mentorship collaboration at a time, more women come into the fold of leadership.
I participated as a panelist at the 2024 Empower Women Summit. The panel was discussing the barriers women face in the manufacturing sector, and the discussion was highlighting what organizations and leaders in this space are doing to break those barriers. I'm inspired and encouraged by the efforts made by Empowaworx and Empower Women through this platform by bringing women from different industries and backgrounds to the table. Bringing them to this table with leading voices, inspiring these women to actively participate in shaping their careers.
There are various ways in which I would like to continue my partnerships and work with Empowaworx. And number one would be to continue being their mentee, because they've introduced me to a level of selflessness when it comes to business, where now I not just see my business as a profit-making entity, but something that can be used as an instrument to change my surroundings and the country at large.
Welcome back. This is the last and final leg of Stories Untold for today. Now, we're just going to do a quick recap. We have introduced you to people who are beneficiaries of an initiative that Empowaworx has embarked on to assist entrepreneurs. Now, we all know that entrepreneurship is more than just individual success. It also creates sustainable futures for young people, but also people that are driven and want to contribute positively to the South African economy. But what is next for Empowaworx? Let's find out from them.
The future of all endeavors is marked by how well past endeavors have gone. And Empowaworx say they have seen amazing growth from participants.
With men, we've seen a different language emanate from our Empower Men summits and conversations, where men are starting to talk about how they show up, and they're quite intentional. They hold one another accountable, but they also have the safe space to be vulnerable and talk about their own challenges, but in empowered ways that don't bleed on others. So that's been quite beautiful to witness.
How you were raised. It was not happening to you, it was happening for you.
There are certain things that institutions will never teach your children. And we cannot replace institution with parenting.
We really just have to be honest with ourselves and being transparent and practice what we preach.
The positive presence of women in key decision-making positions has also been one of the great impacts they have made.
The gap in women leadership is where we have bridged those gaps, and through industry-focused conversations and bringing the C-suite and the decision makers and policy makers to the conversation, we're able to influence just how policy is transformed at a macro level when it comes to our gender policies and our gender equality policies, but also at an institutional level, how women who are at the top are able to influence and enable a conducive environment for more women to come on the fold. So that's how we bridge those gaps, by addressing and catering to that missing middle you speak of.
There is appetite for our stories, and we need to start telling our stories as authentic as they are.
Be clear about what it is we want for our lives.
And their focus on youth is also not left behind, because they bear the brunt of their futures being very precarious.
I think the missing middle is relative in this case. It's the young person who is supposedly called the born free, but 25, 30 years into their life cycle, they've never stepped into a place of work. They don't have a tax number. So this is how we bridge those gaps, and we try to quicken and fast track the progress of those young people that find themselves on the sidelines of economic participation and education, edification as well.
There's one thing I'll tell you is this: remain consistent in showing up.
You are the future. You are the future.
It's either you maximize today or walala wasala.
It's important when you get an opportunity, you know that I worked for it, I deserve it, I'm qualified to be here.
We're quite intentional about identifying social segments. I like that you use that word, because even in the men's discourse, ordinarily, because we were trying to influence from the top and then translate it to the bottom, to the ground, we had to find ways in seeing how then we bring this new generation of men into the conversation. So with what started off as Empower Men, which was ordinarily catering to a more senior, category of men, we have now created Empower Him, which is the mentorship element of it, the mentorship program of it, where we then match these seasoned men with the younger men for a cross-pollination of ideas, of stories, of experiences, and holding one another accountable, and also just supporting one another and guiding one another. So those young men now become a focal point from a segmentation perspective. Same goes with Empower Women. Because we're talking about leadership and seeing how leadership gets to influence a broader developmental agenda and changing that landscape, Empower Her has been born. And that's a mentorship-orientated program to then give younger women who are on an upward trajectory in their respective industries that fighting chance to also reach those boardrooms and high decision-making positions.
I really think the purpose of today is to celebrate us as women.
But more than anything else, we want to have impactful and real and tangible, connection.
The direction is about growth and scaling and broadening and expanding our territory. We've been across the country activating and connecting with women, with young people, and now same goes even for our Empower Entrepreneurs. We're going to other parts of the country where it originally launched in Gauteng, and we know the reasons for that. We are the epicenter, we are the capital, or the richest mile, what do they call it? The richest square mile in Africa. But now we want to spread our wings and get into other parts of the country, because there is economic participation happening there, but sometimes it needs to be quickened by matching opportunity and bolstering the opportunity landscape. And we will also be expanding into Africa, because Africa is booming and it's ready for business, and we know that we've got the Africa Trade Agreement that allows us to trade amongst ourselves as a continent. So that transfer and exchange of knowledge, skills and goods is going to be so exciting for us in this year. We're scaling scaling up with Empower Women, which last year we had 16 industry stages at our leadership summit, and now we're going for 30 stages. And 10,000 women are invited from across the country, across the continent, to come and see how we can really exchange ideas and form a community that sponsors one another's progress.
And we've come to the end of another great edition of Stories Untold today. We would like to hear from you. Are you loving the content? Is there something that we can do to improve it? Do you simply want to be on the show? Maybe you also do great work in the corner of your own world and you'd like us to share the spotlight. We'll be more than happy to do that. Just reach out to us on social media. It's at Stories Untold SABC. And who knows, you could be the next featured guest on the show. Thank you so much for watching. Until next time, bye.